I asked my followers what I should read for the month of August, and that's what we're doing today. So I did an Instagram poll where I selected a bunch of books for my followers to pick for me, and I'm a little stressed because it's already August 10th and I'm still getting through like I think the first book of the month. I don't know how realistic this list that I have is, but we're still gonna try. The first two books that I asked my followers if I should read them were actually Less in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis and Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zeppelin. These are two, I think they're more historical fiction books, and it's really not a comfort genre for me. I never really gravitate towards this type of books, but I've been intrigued by both of these. I actually started Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow I think about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't really make much of a dent in it. I think I only got to page 52, which is not too bad. So this one is about two friends who create a video game, and it pretty much takes you through their lives and how they meet. They've been shallow friends, and then they go to adjacent colleges, so you also see them throughout college, and then I think after they created the video game. And this one is about this chemist that ends up doing something within the cooking community. I'm a little confused about what this book is about, but it's getting turned into a movie and I really want to read it because of that. I like to just formulate my own opinions on the books before they become movies, so that's what this one is about. So I gave these two options to my followers, and I'm gonna show you guys the poll. For this one, I left it on for 24 hours, and for these two books the vote was 77% for Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow, and 23% Less in Chemistry. So obviously this one won, meaning that I'm supposed to be reading this month, and we'll see if I actually get to it. I really want to stick to a TBR, that's why I let my followers select my TBR for this month. So fingers crossed I finished this book this month. And then the second poll that I added to my story was for a romance category books. I try to mix it up and not just like do one type of book, so we have pretty much a little bit of every single book category, book genre they could possibly think about. I gave my followers these two options. It was The Roughest Draft by Austin Sigmund Broca and Emily Wimberly. I think this is a married couple who co-write books together. This one is about this author duo that have a contract with this publishing company. They're supposed to write one more book, but they had a falling out, and I think they do get together again and start writing a book. And there is romance in this book. I don't know if this is kind of giving Emily Henry vibes in the sense that I don't think it's just a full-blown romance, but we shall see. And then this one, I saw this creator called Lauren Reed's Garner on Instagram. She talked about this book and I started reading it. I actually got to also page 52. That seems to be the page mark that I've been getting to lately. And this one is about this lady whose fiance passed away, and they had this plan to essentially just sail through the world or something, and he built a boat and everything, but then he committed suicide. But there is some trigger warnings, look those up for this one. I think this is also a romance, and it's a really short book. It's only 250 pages, so it's a pretty short book for these two books, and I'm going to show you what my followers ended up selecting. The winner was Roughest Draft, and by 61%. Then the float plan only got 39%. So we're gonna be reading this one. I'm actually really excited about this one. It's kind of giving Emily Henry vibes, and I didn't really like Book Lovers that much by her, and I've heard people say that if you like Book Lovers you're gonna like this book. Hopefully this is better than Book Lovers, because that was like one of my least favorite books by Emily Henry. We're gonna be giving this one a try. Next, we did a little bit of a fantasy genre poll. So these are the two options. We've got The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and then we've got Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, same lady that wrote Dance of Thieves. No, I don't think it was. Maybe it is. So this one is, I don't really know what this series is about. I do know it's a YA fantasy series. I know it's a favorite within the book community. It was highly hyped on on BookTok for a while, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about the first book. So the first book says she was 7 when her parents were murdered. She and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in a treacherous high court of fairy. So there is fairy in this book. 10 years later, she wants nothing more than to belong there, but many of the fae despise humans. Actually, Prince Cardin. So I think that's a love interest in this book. Let's see, especially Prince Cardin, the youngest and weakest son of the High King. I'm guessing he's the Cruel Prince. So that's all it says, and it's a 3-book series. I actually already own the second book in this series because I got it by mistake a long time ago. It was one of the first BookTok books I ever bought, and it was by mistake because this is supposed to be the first book. So I have this one right here. I have The Wicked King. We're gonna be reading The Cruel Prince, seems like this month. I also made it through page 48. I think it's possible. We still have, I think, 30 days. There's 31 days in August, I think. But we still have time to get through these books, hopefully. Guys, we're gonna have to hang on tight to Sorcery of Thorns, even though I kind of really wanted this one to win, because I heard someone say on BookTok that if you like Once Upon a Broken Heart duology, or I guess trilogy now, this is similar in a sense, but we'll see. I started reading it. I only got to page like 4, and it was, I mean, that's not fair to judgment based on 4 pages, but that's where I got to. I forgot to tell you guys how much this one won over this one, and it's looking like Sorcery of Thorns only got 30% and then The Cruel Prince got 70%. That's a pretty big difference, meaning we're definitely reading The Cruel Prince for this one. Then for the next one, I was saying I'm the kind of person that associates August with the fall season. I'm already in the fall mood. It's already really cloudy outside. That's why we're literally filming in the kitchen, because this is the only good place I'm getting good lighting here. So I decided to put these 2 books up against each other. We've got If We Were Villains by Emma Rio, and we've got The Secret History by Donna Tartt. These are pretty similar books in the sense that they're both dark academia, which is a very fall genre, and I'm still to read a dark academia book, and I feel like it's a genre that I could really like because I do really like Harry Potter and stuff like that. So we'll see. I actually read quite a bit of the Secret History. I made it to page 156 and I was really liking this book. The problem is that I'm reading this book for a whole other video, so I'm actually kind of glad this didn't win. So I'm gonna tell you guys what these 2 books are about. This book is about this group of friends that attend I think it's an Ivy League university, and they're very obnoxious rich people, and they talk about really old literature, and they have this Greek class that's like really hard to get into. There's only like 5 or 7 people in it, and the main character for this book is actually one of those characters. The description in the back of the book is not going to give you anything. That's one of the things I like about this book. I hope eventually I finish this book because I've heard amazing things about it, but unfortunately this didn't win. The winner was If We Were Villains by Emma Rio, and this is also a dark academia book. This one quotes Shakespeare a lot, and I have read Shakespeare before. I read Romeo and Juliet when I was in high school, but Shakespeare's writing is just really heavy, and I've heard there's a lot of Shakespeare quotes in this. That's all I know about this book. I haven't really read much of it. I think I only read like the first few pages, and I didn't even put a marker in it, meaning that we have a lot of reading to do for this one. It's not that long of a book. It's 358 pages, and the font's pretty big too, so I think we can do it. This was actually the tightest poll I had in this entire video. We had The Secret History at 45%, and then we had If We Were Villains at 55%. So it's only a 10% difference, and that's insane, meaning these are probably the 2 most hyped up books in that entire poll I did. So I'm really excited to read If We Were Villains. Hopefully I actually get through it. And then lastly, we had to have a thriller in this, and I have actually 2 arcs. One of them is not an arc. One of them is a book that was sent to me by the author actually, and I decided to include them in this video, so I'll show you guys in a minute. Actually a really tight poll as well. I really wanted to read a thriller. Thriller books are not like amazing literature or anything like that, but they do really get me out of reading slumps, and they're kind of what I call palette cleansers. If I need a palette cleanser or if I need to get out of a reading slump, I'm going to pick up a thriller. So I had to have something like that this month. And the two options are The Block Party by, I can never find the author of this, I'm totally honest with you. The Block Party and Esmeralda King by Catherine Lewis. This was sent to me by the author. This book is already out if you want to go check it out. So I'm going to read you guys the description. This one says, Esmeralda King, or Esme, is known by her friends and family as a sexy and intelligent cybersecurity professional. After working for the government on a series of strictly confidential projects, she now solves sensitive cases on behalf of the rich and famous. So I think this is a series and it follows this one character. I'm really excited to eventually get to this, but this was not the winner of today's poll. It was actually The Block Party. This was an arc. I don't know. Jamie Day is the author. It was sent to me by St. Martin's Press, and I think this book might already be out. Let me do some research and then I'll get back to you. Arc, but this book is actually already out. It was supposed to come out on July 18th. You can already purchase this book. This is a thriller. I really like the description of this book. I was really intrigued to read this one. So it says, this summer meet your neighbors. The residents of the exclusive cul-de-sac on Alton Road are entangled in a web of secrets and scandal utterly unknown to the outside world and even to each other. On the night of the annual summer block party, there has been a murder, but who did it and why? It takes the readers back 1 year earlier. So it starts like kind of unfolding the entire relationship between these neighbors who live in this cul-de-sac in some rich neighborhood. And I am a sucker for neighborhood mysteries. I've heard good things about this author, so I'm really excited to give this one a try. And this was the winner, and the font is actually kind of small, but there's like really short chapters. So this is gonna be the thriller we're gonna reading this month. Quick little recap. This is the books that I'm supposed to be reading this month. I think it's doable. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. I think it's doable in 20 days. I'll have to read a book every 2 days pretty much in order to do this. So I have 4 days for each book. The Matz not matting. No, I think that's right. So got Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabriel 7. We've got, for the romance category, we've got The Roughest Draft by Emily Wimberly and Austin Sigmund Broca. For the fantasy of this month, we've got The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. We've got If We Were Villains by Emma Rio. This is the Dark Academia book of the month. And lastly, we've got The Block Party for a thriller. So hold me accountable and let's see if I actually do read all these books. That's pretty much the video for today. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.